Yo, what's going on, everybody? So today I want to have a conversation with you guys that I honestly didn't think I would need to actually have, but I was reading the comments on the latest video about Boruto messing up the timeline, and a lot of you guys disagreed with me on whether or not Jiraiya being brought back in the series would actually be a terrible thing. And I really read a lot of the comments, and a lot of people are really hitching their wagon to the fact that Kashin Koji could actually be Jiraiya, and that this time travel arc is a good way to make it happen. And I conceded in the video that this is something that is possible. It could very well happen. And as I read some of you guys' comments, you know, a few of them really stood out. So I want to talk to you guys about the revival of Jiraiya in Boruto Naruto Next Generations and why it could be a good idea and why this actually could be something that explains some of the stuff that's going on in the manga. Now, for those of you who are anime only, don't worry. I'm not going to spoil major points of the manga. So you can go into this video spoiler free. This isn't the time of the month where I talk about Boruto spoilers. That happens when a Boruto chapter is coming out, so you are able to watch this video safely. So one thing this anime arc does open up the door for is the possibility of explaining why Kashin Koji is as powerful as he is and why he feels so confident that he can take out the weakened version of what is now the main villain of the story so far. And what I find very fascinating about this possible thing happening is that two things would need to occur. Number one, Jiraiya would have to fake his death. Now, a lot of people will go back to what happened in the Naruto manga where Kabuto states that he can't get to Jiraiya's body because it's so far under the water that even if he used Edo Tensei and if he tried to retrieve it himself, that he wasn't going to be able to get to the body. And so that's one of those moments where you could look at it and say, well, they could retcon that and say that the reason why Kabuto wasn't able to find Jiraiya's body is because Jiraiya was able to, say, reverse summon himself, even though he has the chakra rods inside of him, and even though that should be preventing him from molding chakra. If you want to make retcons, you gotta go all the way for it. The other thing is the fact that in that moment, it could be one of those things where the information that he gets during this current arc in the anime, which by the time you guys are seeing this video, the episode should be coming out. When the episode comes out, you should be expecting to see a confrontation between Jiraiya and with Urashiki. And so this will be Jiraiya being aware of the Sasuke clan. Now, the reason why this is so huge is the fact that now we have a reason to explain why, if Kashin Koji is indeed Jiraiya, why Kashin Koji appears to know as much as he does about the Sasuke clan, as well as the true power of Sasuke, despite never having seen Sasuke fight. If this is indeed the case, having Jiraiya be able to survive the pain arc and actually see adult Sasuke fight and have that information, it would explain why he never went back to Konoha, because he's been doing the same thing that Sasuke's been doing, which is observing everything from the shadows and trying to protect the village from the shadows, which could also explain why Kashin Koji states that he has a tie to Konoha, that his destiny lies there. And that opens up the door for yet another thing for time travel, which is, if you look at some of the stuff that happens in other mediums of fiction, when you have a character who's able to cheat death because of interactions with people time traveling, there's usually some type of consequence for that. So we could see this character be somebody that is essentially living on borrowed time. So I mean, that's one of the things that we do have to at least consider, that type of a possibility. Now, the other thing about Jiraiya being revived is this arc, if this indeed is how they're going to do it, this arc opens up the door to actually bring Jiraiya back and do so in a way that, if you make smart retcons, which for those of you who don't know, a retcon is essentially retroactive continuity. The original Naruto series did it a lot. So like, if you read the manga, there are a lot of retcons to the story, and you use retcons when you get to a story point and you need to tie it back to something that happened earlier, or you need to make a drastic change, but you need to justify it to the reader. So this could be an opportunity to do it. And when you look at the timing of this, when you look at the timing, because of everything going in the manga, this isn't something I think is done by coincidence. And the reason why I say that is Masashi Kishimoto, when he does step into the anime, when this happens, he usually steps in and there's a bit of a lore dump. So when you go back to the Academy arc, when he stepped in, he saw the episode scripts for episodes 7, 8, and 9, and he restructured those episodes and broke those up. And then when you look at the versus Momoshiki arc of the anime, that was based off of the original concept that they had planned for Boruto the movie. They had to use a lot of the stuff in the anime version that they had to cut out of the movie, and they actually left quite a bit off of the table for the anime adaptation. So when you start looking at that and the other arcs where Kishimoto did get involved, well, you see one thing very constant, which is it blends in information from the manga as well as Kishimoto's original original vision for the series. And what I also find fascinating about Kishimoto going to the anime staff, going to Kodachi with the idea of this time travel arc and having it during this 20th anniversary and potentially having these type of ramifications is it now offers the opportunity to have one of Kishimoto's defining moments in his original series to bring back a fan favorite, but also do so in a way that doesn't completely smear the legacy of the character. But I really want to know from you guys, what do you guys think about the potential revival of Jiraiya? Let me know down in the comment section below. But as always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. Have an awesome day, guys.